Luka Doncic and the Mavs handed Zion's Pelicans their third straight loss in OT last night. Luka finished with 30 points, 17 boards, and 10 assists, and Zion finished with 21 and 6. His Pelicans are now 5 games back of the 8th seed, and this was Zion's first back-to-back of the season. And during overtime, he didn't check in until the 144 mark. Interesting. So after the game, head coach Alvin Gentry did not take kindly to questions about Zion's conditioning. Check it out.
I think he's fine. We worry about him too freaking much, okay? He's fine. He's 19 years old. He'll be fine.
Okay, Shannon, what did you make of Gentry's reaction?
Skip, look, and Alvin just like, look, I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you. This is above my pay grade. Ownership, doctors, David Griffin basically is like, Skip, he played the most minutes he's played all year, 35 minutes. Now, I understand that the Pelicans, they're right there for that the 8th spot.
Yes.
They got their work cut out for them because there's only 20 games left, and the last time this happened, somebody came from 5 down with 20 games left. You got to go back to the Bullets. They're now the Washington Wizards. This
95,
was like, 95, 96, 97.
96, 97. Okay.
So that's a
long time.
So they got their work cut out for him, Skip. Look, I don't believe conditioning will be an issue for the rest of his life, and but they got to be cautious. For 2 years, Skip, he's been out of high school. He had a knee injury in college, and he had a knee injury into the NBA. So they're going to be overly cautious with this kid, and rightfully so. I would rather miss the playoffs in Zion's rookie year and then have him healthy for the next 10 years as opposed to run his minutes up, put him in harm's way, make the playoffs, and now something goes awry, Skip. They're going to be overly cautious. When I say overly, they're going to be overly cautious. And I know people are like, well, start Zion in overtime. But, Skip, I think what they're looking at, like, do I want to have a 1 or 2 point lead with 3 minutes left in the overtime and I got to sit Zion, or do I want to be 1 to 2 points down, bring Zion in, and now he can close it out for us? And I think that's what they were looking at, Skip. And it gets frustrating because even when Zion plays well, somehow it goes back to his conditioning. Well, if he's in better shape, Alvin, he could have had 40 points instead of the 35. And so it gets old. They got a plan. They're going to stick to the plan. And no matter how many different ways you ask him, Skip, Zion is never going to be, in his life, 235 pounds. So get that thought out of your head. The best maybe you can hope for, Skip, is maybe 265, 270. And that's going to be pushing it. And it was a back-to-back. It was first back-to-back. And he said that Holiday and Zoe came to him like, bro, you need to wake up. You okay?
Second quarter.
Yeah, the second quarter, like, bro, you need to wake up.
Yeah.
So, Skip, be patient. Everybody just want the kid to just roll out of bed and be a 7-year vet. Let him take his time. It's okay.
Okay. I've known Alvin for a long time. I like Alvin a lot. I did not love Alvin last night, I must admit. But he is right. This kid is 19, and now he's played a grand total of 17 NBA games. And yet, I've seen enough in 17 that I got frustrated last night to the point of angry, about to throw something at my TV down the stretch of regulation and then in overtime. Because this kid is something. Especially late in games, he has been something. And I'm going to preface everything I'm about to say with this little nugget for you. Since Zion's debut 17 games ago, he has scored the 3rd most points in the NBA in the 4th quarter and overtime. The 3rd most points has been scored by this 19-year-old in the whole league in 4th quarter and overtime over this 17-game stretch. That's telling me something tangible that I can hang my hat on and say, okay, something is happening in the 4th quarters and overtime because he's turning into the NBA equivalent of Derrick Henry. He is so big and so strong and so powerful and so relentless that, like Derrick Henry, he just wears you down and out later in the game. The later it goes, the stronger he seems to get. And I don't see him in 4th quarters huff and puff. He seems to somehow get second wins or third wins or maybe even 4th quarter wins, if you will. And he bullies people into submission in the fourth quarter because remember what happened against the Lakers? He was just parading to the free throw line. Remember that night?
Yep.
And last night they were not giving him the calls, and I don't know why. That's the first night he just wasn't getting the calls. And Dallas did something interesting. Rick Carlisle started Kleba, who's 6'10". He put him in the starting lineup just to kind of bang with Zion because he's a big old Euro banger.
Right.
He'll just bang with you all night long. He won't back down. He'll just keep trying. He'll hang tough in there, right?
Yes.
And the whole game plan was that Porzingis, the unicorn at 7 feet 3 inches tall, he was supposed to come and help immediately.
Yeah.
So Zion, for the most part, was stuck with, can I get over the 6'10" guy? Because if I do get over him, now I got to deal with the 7'3" guy.
7'3".
Okay, and Zion is 6'6".
Right.
Yeah.
And we know he can just jump out of the gym and over the moon, right? We get that.
Right.
And he can quick jump over the moon. But it gets a little tough down there, and the refs were saying, nah, not tonight. I'm not going to give you that.
Kleba blocked him 3 times in the first half,
Did
5 overall.
5 overall, and that's a lot of blocking to go on. And did the kid get frustrated? Maybe a little bit. Boy, he was still coming in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Okay, so what did I see in his first stint in the fourth quarter? And I got no problem with you got to take him out for a little blow right in the middle of the fourth quarter. No problem with that. But in his first stint, he took 3 shots and made 2 of them. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, here he comes.
Right.
And then he took his little rest, and he comes back in with 3:43 left. And down the stretch of a game, they were down 2 at that point. Help me out. How many more times did Zion Williamson touch the basketball from 3:43 to the end of regulation? Help me out, please, Alvin Gentry. How about a big old 0? My man Zion did not register on the stats sheet for the last 3:43 of a very winnable game. And I'll be the first to admit to you, my frustration was tripled because I do want to see this team eke into the A spot just because it would be fun, right? Wouldn't it be more fun? I love Ja and I love Memphis, but this would be fun because Lonzo is suddenly turning into a basketball player because he's turning into a man right before your very eyes,
7 of 11 from 3.
7 of 11 from 3, career high 7. And they've got some They got some firepower on this team, and it would be fun to watch them against the Lakers. Do I really believe they could upset the Lakers like LeVar said? I don't, but would it be fun to watch? Yes, and you know and I know that would be good for basketball, right?
Yep, be good for us.
Is it becoming a long shot? You better believe it is. Longer and longer. I got it. So this is driving me crazy that the Pelicans seem to have no idea or, frankly, no desire to get the ball to the guy who I think is their 19-year-old closer. Seriously, he can close games. He will make late-game free throws like crazy if you'll get him to the line. But first, you got to get him in some advantageous position to do his damage. You can't just try to find a shot around the perimeter and then with 3 seconds left on the clock say, uh-oh, just dump it into him.
Right.
Because he's stuck between Porzingis and Kleba, right?
At that
and
point.
then just see if he can kind of like muscle it up through him.
But then why are you mad at Alvin Gentry? Shouldn't you be mad at Lonzo and Holiday and Brandon Ingram?
But there's got to be some design to this where you have plays that you can call. I don't see a play call twice in this basketball game. I saw Lonzo bring the ball up fairly slowly and flip it to him in a little clear out where he stepped out maybe 12 feet or so and faced, because all the other ones are not back to back, butt to basket, right? It's butt to basket, and it's getting the ball in here where you're like at this level here.
Skip, the way they play, Skip, their offense is get the ball out on the break, get up the court as fast as you possibly can. That's their advantage.
But they weren't getting Zion on the loose. You know, we didn't see enough of that, right? It wasn't happening with regularity. And the 2 times he turned and faced in a clear out on Kleba's got no chance because if you let him get a running start at you, he's too quick, right? He's too ambidextrous. He can go left or right, right?
He's going, and Skip, he's left-handed. So he's going to get to that left hand. He's going to get to the left side, or he's going to start on the right and go up and under the basket. That's what he is.
So the Pelicans drove me out of my chair onto the floor because here's what happens. 3:43 left, and here are the possessions. Brandon Ingram comes down, misses 11-foot jumper. Then Lonzo misses a 3. These are all possible Zion touches, okay? Then Brandon got hot again, and he made a 3, and then he made that fadeaway on the baseline where I said,
he got fouled too.
Yeah, but it looked like he was going to fall out of bounds, and he made it.
Yeah, he was hanging in there.
And it's like, oh, crazy hot. Heat check. Well, here came the heat checks because he comes down again, missed a 3, and missed a 3. They could have gone up 4 and 4. That's with 1:22 and 59 seconds left. Miss.
The script, the only shot that I questioned, I'm like, B.I., why are you shooting a 3 with 59 seconds so quick in the shot clock?
Because he's an all-star. And I told you, he's got it in his head. I'm the man on this team, to the detriment of the 19-year-old. And now Lonzo is turning into a higher volume shooter. And after a while, if you throw Drew Holiday into the mix, who had a triple-double the night before against the T-Wolves, right? It's too many shots that aren't going to the guy in the middle.
But Skip,
help me out.
But Skip, again, remember against the T-Wolves, you had 4 guys that had 20 points or more. You almost had 4 guys again. Skip, is defense. They're not playing any defense. Look at Ingram had 27. Zion had 21. Lonzo had 25. Holiday had 19. So you like to have 4 guys again with 20 points.
Almost the night before, they all 4 had 20 points.
Yes.
Okay, but they're not playing any defense,
no
right?
defense.
Okay, then the most frustrating possession to me of all was the last one, because Lonzo, with 29 seconds left, he shoots a near air ball. I think it ticked the far side because they reset the shot clock. And then the Pelicans get the offensive line. I'm thinking, dump it down. You got something. And instead, because the shot clock is starting to go down.